The hailstorm came without warning that Tuesday evening. Marcus Chun sat in his black SUV outside the community center, where his daughter attended dance class, watching ice pellet hammer against the windshield like angry fists. He was early as always, his calendar perfectly timed between board meetings and parent duties. Being a single father and CEO meant living by the clock. Through the curtain of rain and hail, he noticed something small and pink near the entrance. His heart stopped. A little girl sat alone on the wet pavement, maybe 6 or 7 years old, her pink dress already soaked through. She had her hands pressed against her face, shoulders shaking. Marcus didn't think twice. He threw open his door and ran through the storm, his expensive suit instantly drenched. "Hey, sweetheart," he said gently, crouching down to her level despite the hail stinging his back. "Are you okay? Where are your parents?" The girl looked up at him with tear-filled blue eyes. Her blonde hair was plastered to her face. She was crying so hard she could barely speak. "I can't find my grandma," she managed between sobs. "She was supposed to pick me up from art class, but she's not here, and the building is locked now, and I don't know what to do." Marcus's chest tightened. He thought of his own daughter, Emily, waiting inside the warm building. "Come on," he said softly, taking off his suit jacket and wrapping it around her tiny shoulders. "Let's get you out of this storm." He scooped her up carefully and carried her to his SUV. Once inside, he turned the heat up high and grabbed the emergency blanket he kept in the back. "There we go," he said, wrapping it around her. "You're safe now." The girl stopped crying gradually, her breathing becoming steadier. "What's your name?" Marcus asked. "Sophie," she whispered. "I'm Marcus," he smiled warmly. "Do you know your grandma's phone number?" Sophie shook her head. "But I know my address." Marcus nodded and handed her his phone. "Can you tell me?" As she recited the address, his GPS showed it was only 10 minutes away. "All right, Sophie, let's get you home." They drove through the storm in comfortable silence until Sophie spoke again, her voice small but curious. "Are you Marcus Chin?" He glanced at her in the rear-view mirror, surprised. "Yes, I am. How did you know?" Sophie's eyes filled with tears again, but this time they seemed different somehow, softer. "My mom used to tell me about you." Marcus felt his breath catch. Something in her tone made his hands grip the steering wheel tighter. "Your mom?" he asked carefully. "She died last year." Sophie said matter-of-factly, the way children do when they've had to explain it too many times. "But before she got really sick, she told me stories about when she was young." Marcus pulled into a quiet parking lot, unable to drive anymore. He turned to face her fully. "What was your mother's name? Sophie?" "Rebecca," she said. "Rebecca Morrison." The name hit him like a physical blow. Rebecca, his Rebecca from 25 years ago. The girl he'd loved desperately in college before life pulled him in different directions. He'd gone to business school in New York, while she stayed behind to care for her sick father. They'd promised to find their way back to each other, but years passed, and the promises faded into memory. "She remembered you," Sophie continued, unaware of the storm now raging inside Marcus. "She said you were the kindest person she ever knew. She told me about the time you gave your last $20 to a homeless man, even though you needed it for textbooks, and how you stayed up all night helping her study for exams, even when you had your own tests." Marcus felt tears burning his eyes. "She said if anything ever happened to her, I should try to be like the people she admired most. And you were always first on that list." "Sophie," Marcus said, his voice thick, "I wish I'd known. I wish I could have been there for her." "You couldn't have known," Sophie said with wisdom beyond her years. "Mom said you two lost touch. She married my dad, but he left when I was 3. Then it was just me and Mom until she got sick. Now I live with Grandma, but she forgets things sometimes. Like today." Marcus made a decision in that moment. "Sophie, I'm going to make sure you get home safely. And then I'd like to talk to your grandma about how I might help. Would that be okay?" Sophie nodded, a small smile finally crossing her face. When they arrived at the modest apartment building, an elderly woman was standing outside in the rain, frantic. "Sophie," she cried. "Oh my God, Sophie." Marcus got out and helped Sophie down. The grandmother rushed over, hugging her granddaughter tightly before looking at Marcus with grateful, confused eyes. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I got my days mixed up and thought I was supposed to pick her up tomorrow, and when the art center called saying she was still there, I rushed over, but she was gone, and I've been driving around. It's all right, Marcus said gently. She's safe. My name is Marcus Chun. I'm an old friend of Rebecca's. The woman's eyes widened. Marcus? Rebecca talked about you. I'm Helen, her mother. They stood in the rain, talking while Sophie watched from under the building's awning. Marcus learned about Rebecca's battle with cancer, about Helen's early-stage dementia, about the struggles they faced. Before he left, Marcus took out his card. Please call me, he said. I'd like to help. Rebecca meant a great deal to me once. Let me honor her memory by looking after Sophie. Over the following months, Marcus became a steady presence in Sophie's life. He set up a trust fund for her education, arranged for better care support for Helen, and most importantly, he showed up. He came to Sophie's school plays and art shows. He took her and Emily out for ice cream. He made sure she knew she wasn't alone. One evening, Sophie asked him why he was doing all this. Marcus crouched down to her level, just like he had that rainy day. Because your mother taught me what kindness looks like, he said. And because every child deserves to know they matter. You matter, Sophie. Sophie hugged him tightly. I think Mom sent you that day, she whispered. I think maybe she did, Marcus agreed, his heart full. Sometimes the storms in life bring us exactly where we need to be. Sometimes lost connections find their way home through the next generation. And sometimes the greatest gift we can give is showing up when someone needs us most. Marcus had built an empire, but saving Sophie that day reminded him what true success looked like. It looked like a little girl in a pink dress who wasn't afraid anymore. It looked like keeping promises to people who could no longer hear them. It looked like love. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories about kindness and second chances. Leave a comment below telling us about a time someone showed up for you when you needed it most. Your story might inspire someone else today.